Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, I am still recovering not from this Napoli game, but from Milan Spezia that was happening at the same time. What a game, Milan Spezia. Absolutely unreal. Let me know, guys, if the sound is okay, but Milan Spezia was an incredible game in the last few minutes. In the analysis of Napoli's game, you guys will notice that I basically stopped watching after the 70th minute. I'll say from the start, I have no idea how any of the subs played, apart from having watched maybe Osimhen dribble past one or two people and almost shoot on goal, because my attention was completely on the Spezia game. Absolutely nuts ending to that. Milan's let me go straight to that. All right, it's because some of you might have missed it. So let me go to the last slide of this. This is the 92nd minute, guys. Milan score. The score is 1-1. There's a foul on the edge of the box. The ball on a Milan player. The ball rolls down to Junior Messias. Messias scores a goal, a beautiful goal, curls it in top corner, but just as he kicks the ball, then the ref blows the whistle. So it would have been 2-1 for Milan. It stays 1-1. A minute later, Ibrahimovic hits the crossbar from a corner, and then a minute after that, so now we're talking like 95th, 96th minute, then Spezia score on our counter-attack. Absolutely unreal scenes at the San Siro. It could have easily been 2-1 for Milan. Instead, it was 2-1 for Spezia. I don't have the pictures of what happened. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm still recovering from that Milan game. It's absolutely ridiculous how bad they got shafted. I almost feel sorry for them. I almost do, if it wasn't for the fact that they get so lucky. Inter are first, and I'm okay with that, because Inter are genuinely a team that I think deserves the points that they have, or at least deserves to be first. Okay, they got kind of lucky by not having injuries, but they're clearly, the best team in Italy, I think, at the moment. You could argue maybe Napoli is without the injuries, but I mean, they showed some good level of football, right? Milan, on the other hand, they were getting so lucky in so many games since last year. Their entire run up to the Champions League spot last year was reliant on them having 20 plus penalties last season. Something unreal. So the fact that they get something against them like this, okay, it sucks. You never want to see that in football. But I feel like things are starting to finally balance out. So that's, it's, as I said, it sucks to see for someone that loves football. But for Napoli's title hopes, for just making sure that, luck gets distributed evenly here and there, this is nice to see. It's nice to see. I might frame this picture. I might put, I think I've got some space over there to put this picture and just keep it. But yeah, absolutely. You got to feel sorry for Milan fans. You got to feel sorry for Milan fans. But. Oh, Uncle Sharma's in the house. I didn't even know Uncle Sharma was in the house, and I complimented Inter that way. Yeah, Inter though, they drew against Atalanta. Obviously, they still have a game in hand, but Milan lost, Atalanta drew, obviously Inter drew. Napoli's the only team in the last 2 days that actually managed to get 3 points. So that's good. We are now recovering a lot of players, which is fantastic. We've recovered Osimhen. CHUCKY Lozano was on form today. Zielinski, the maestro, is back. Mario Rui, the maestro. A lot of players are coming back from injury. Yeah, Ospina's still injured. Insigne is still injured. But Meret had a good game today. I don't think we really felt Insigne's absence too much. Not so much because Elmas was good. I don't think Elmas was particularly good today. Maybe the worst for Napoli today. But I felt like because we were so good on that right-hand side, it just overcompensated that fact. And Fabian is back. I mean, Fabian is in a league of his own at the moment. So, again, guys, this is not Milan talk. This is Napoli talk. So let's start the analysis of the Napoli game, guys. So we start off with CHUCKY LOZANO going and almost scoring in the first few minutes of the game thanks to this beautiful pass by Fabian. As I said, Fabian is back. What a playmaker he is. He can do everything. Long passing, short passing, shooting. We saw him hit the crossbar later on. Yes, he's not very physical. He's not very quick. But when he's on the ball, things happen. I mean, this pass here is not something that a regular person sees. I was watching, the game live like all of you guys, and I just did not see that Lozano run. But Fabian was able to spot that, give him a beautiful pass, and Lozano was close to scoring. So, but that was a sign of things to come. It was a little teaser, a little taste of what was to come later on in this game. Guys, there are so many of you that are joining the live. If you haven't yet subscribed to Napoli Talk, make sure you subscribe to Napoli Talk. Make sure you are liking this video. If you like the analysis of the game, there's going to be player ratings, press conference reviews. Make sure you are smashing that like button. One like is also, and one subscribe is also 1 cent to charity. So let's make sure that we are smashing that button. Let's see what some of the comments say, because there's a lot of you in the chat today. So Anthony Navarro is saying, well, first off, Maximus is saying, is it Christmas again? Napoli actually hold on to a 2-0 lead and Spezia beat Milan last minute. Spezia are easily now becoming the giant slayers. After beating Napoli, they go and they beat Milan. Who knows if they'll do something similar against Inter. I don't think they've played Inter yet in the return leg of this Serie A. Anthony Navarro saying, JJ and Rui proved me wrong today. Good job there. Lozano, nice to see getting back in defense decently well. Just him getting back is enough in itself, but good work from him. Yeah, I mean, the next slide is actually me showing how Lozano was able to, also help out massively in defense. He just seemed so fired up today. I think Spalletti did a really good thing and letting him play. After he had COVID, got a lot of criticism from myself included, got a red card against Fiorentina. I think he had so much built up anger, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Lozano fired up. We want to see, this guy. He's got so much talent. He's got so much potential. He just needs to show it. And what I really liked about Lozano today was his calmness on the ball. You can see that in the second goal, which we'll get to, but the fact that he managed to control the ball and then go past the keeper and then score just is what we want to see from Lozano. I felt like a lot of his mistakes earlier on in the season were the fact that he wasn't calm at all. So the ref also had a big part to play in today's game. Didn't affect the scoreline, but definitely was a big talking point in today's game. We see here Mario Rui getting studs on above the knee. That's dangerous play by the Bologna player. Didn't get even a yellow card. We got the free kick, but not a yellow card. And I think if you're going to give a free kick, then you're saying that it's intentional. And then you're also, at that point, you should be handing out, I'm not saying a red in this case, because it wasn't a mean tackle, but at least a yellow card. And we see that throughout the game, the fact that actually Napoli did not get a lot of decisions our way. And, Bologna, I think, are lucky to have finished the game with 11 men. Guys, make sure you are smashing that like button. Anthony Giampaolo's in the house saying, if this Lozano can show up every game, then missing Insigne next year won't be bad. Yeah, it's just Lozano needs to come into form and consistency and keep consistency for, I'm saying not 38 games a season, but he needs to perform at least 25. We need at least 25 good games from Lozano. Elmas and everybody else around can compensate. But, ideally, a guy that's earning as much as Lozano, that we paid as much as Lozano, needs to be performing. Not saying every game, but 2 out of 3 games for sure needs to be performing. Let's see. Fabio says, sì. Salvatore Di Brita, El CHUCKY LOZANO. V.H is saying Lozano got real lazy after his second goal, though. I thought Lozano actually tried to get his third and then he got substituted off. I don't think he got lazy. Paolo Iannicello, Milan lost, baby. Lusty OG is say they wouldn't really pass him the ball that much. I saw many instances where they chose a wrong option instead of passing to an open CHUCKY. I think that happened more in other games. I think CHUCKY was super involved in today's game, especially in the first half. He linked up really well with Di Lorenzo and Fabian. There was a lot of triangulation that was going on. So I think that's I think that was a positive, from the game. ID is also here. What a win! Plus Spezia won against Milan. Matteo Bonetti crying on my timeline. Matteo Bonetti, for those of you that don't know, is a commentator who's a declared Milan fan. Yo, what's up, Dom? Says Cleto. All good. It's all Gucci in the house today. Make sure you are smashing that like button for this top-notch result by Napoli. Milan lost. You just couldn't ask for a better Monday. They say today is Blue Monday. It's supposed to be the saddest day of the year, according to, I don't know, your sister's horoscope or something. I actually have no idea how they come up with that stuff, but apparently it's meant to be the darkest or the saddest day of the year. Definitely wasn't the case today if you are a Napoli fan. So and this is how Lozano scored. We've been talking about Lozano. This is how Lozano scored. First, Zielinski passes the ball down to Elmas. Zielinski is always involved in the play. He didn't get an assist today, but he's always the guy before the assist, which is why I think he did really, really well today. Zielinski passes to Elmas. Elmas does quite well to get a cross in without it getting blocked. Dries Mertens leaves it for CHUCKY LOZANO, but what I really like is CHUCKY LOZANO determination. We saw it with the way that he recovered the ball earlier. We saw it 5 minutes ago. Look at how he creates space for himself, making sure that he keeps the defender at bay. He's got more hunger than the defender, and look how much space he then has by the time that the ball comes in. That's the sort of thing that Lozano is really, really good at, finding the right space inside the box, making those runs. He needs to be able to maximize that sort of talent that he has, and if he does that, then he can be really, really important for Napoli. Dom definitely thought of roasting someone's mom, but he passed on the idea and went with sister instead. That's literally exactly what went through my mind. I've been a bit harsh on all your mothers recently. I thought it's time to move on to your sisters instead. Humans Are Weird is saying, if it's Blue Monday, I gotta listen to New Order. Blue Monday for Dallas Cowboys fans, says Zen ED. For those of you who watch American football, how does he know my sister does horoscopes? I know all your sisters. T. Toleofe saying, kind of sad we didn't get much out of Mertens today. We need to work on that better. Yeah, Mertens was a bit quiet today. Mertens, maybe it's the fatigue. Maybe it's the fact that actually he was the one that was maybe allowing, he was attracting all these Bologna players, and then it allowed Lozano to have a bit more space. We also see that Mertens, whilst he didn't get an assist here, he's maybe actively involved in CHUCKY's goal. If he heard Lozano scream for the ball and left it for him, he's made that space for Lozano. Talking about how to get space, I really like how Napoli played today in midfield, so I tried to grab like an instance of how Napoli plays and how they were so smooth between Fabian, Elmas, Zielinski, and Lobotka, the four of them. They're essentially four midfielders, and they're four midfielders that like to pass the ball around. Elmas and Zielinski have really good movement. They're really technical players. And I really like how they play. So I tried to find an instance where they showed a bit of that. So look at this situation here with Lobotka on the ball, and eventually the situation ends up that Elmas gets the ball. But how? There's acres of space between Lobotka and Elmas at the moment. Obviously, if you try to do a pass now, it's never going to work. If you give the ball to Fabian ahead of Lobotka right now, it's still not really going to work because you've got the two Bologna midfielders that are quite close. So how do we do this? Well, Zielinski surprises one of the Bologna midfielders by making a run into the space right in front of Lobotka, as you can see here. That drags a Bologna midfielder into that space. It also moves one of the Bologna defenders slightly inwards to try to maybe anticipate as well if the ball runs a bit long. That's actually where, on a side note, CHUCKY then should be making a run. He should start thinking about there's going to be some space created in behind that defender. I should make a run, whether that's behind the left back or in front of him. He's got to be thinking about that. What he does actually in this case is that he stays quite stationary, which I don't really agree with, but irrelevant because we're talking about how Elmas gets the ball anyways. So I also want you to note Lobotka and how effective he is. Look at how he's looking at Zielinski's run. So everybody thinks he's going to pass the ball to Zielinski making the run. Instead, boom, passes it to Fabian. Everyone's like, oh, what? You passed it to Fabian? I had no idea. I thought you were going to pass it to Zielinski. No, pass it to Fabian, and then Fabian, first time, goes over to Elmas. That's how you create the space for Elmas in between the lines. At this point, as I said, Dries Mertens and CHUCKY Lozano were kind of sleeping because when Fabian gets the ball, you already need to be identifying, look, there's a space in between one of the center backs and the left backs that Zielinski created by dragging a defender out of position. Neither of them make the run to try to exploit that space. A bit asleep in that situation. We'll forgive them because we won the game. But I think in a situation where maybe if we had Osimhen on the field, maybe instead of Dries Mertens, not because Dries Mertens is bad, but just because Dries Mertens doesn't have that, running into the space characteristic as much as Osimhen, and also because he's a bit, not so fresh at the moment. He's played a lot of minutes recently. But if Osimhen was there, I feel like he would have made the run in between those defenders. There's a lot of gap. There's a lot of space to exploit. The pass doesn't even need to be that accurate for you to exploit that space. And I think Elmas, once he receives the ball from that position, I feel like he'd be able to find the pass in that space. So that's a little lesson of how Napoli play, and that involves so much. It involves Zielinski making the right run, Lobotka faking a pass to Zielinski and giving it to Fabian, and Fabian, boom, straight to Elmas. Then Elmas needs to be switched on, boom, straight to Lozano and Dries that make a run inside that gap, but they didn't do that, unfortunately. But that's how it could have evolved. Let's see. Man, I love talking about movements that players create. Such a joy to watch this Napoli team play when those four players are on the field. Let's see some of the newer comments, guys. There's a lot of you in the chat. Make sure that if you are loving this tactical analysis and explanation of how Napoli plays, that you are smashing that like button, guys. It really helps the channel, and it makes me smile and happy. So why wouldn't you do that? Let's see some of the comments. So Tito Leofea saying, kind of sad we didn't get much out of Mertens. What about Demme trying a through ball in his Jorginho element? Demme, I didn't really see much of him because I was watching the Milan game towards the end, I'll admit. Tito Leofea saying, Ebbe C. Djordjevic is saying, the real hero was the staff guy. What a fantastic red card. I didn't see that because I was watching the Milan game. There's a lot of things I missed in the last 10 minutes of this game, guys. I'm sorry. But the Milan thing was, this game was over by then, so I was watching Milan at that point. Will the staff guy get a player rating? I have no idea. Stop. What did the staff guy do? Did he do something crazy? Let me know in the comments what the staff guy did. Can we appreciate Lobotka's ball control and passing, so relaxed and confident on the ball, says Shmuel M. FK Ayasamyas, I think I pronounced that well, saying, Osimhen isn't that convincing. He reminds me of FIFA. If you have pace, you are 80% potentially a great player. Osimhen needs to work on his finishing a little bit. We talked about it at the start of the season. The thing is, I'm not so harsh on him for that, because he's the one that creates the opportunity for himself. We'll see that later on, how, yes, maybe he messed up the chance, but in the meantime, he's by himself got past 3 players. So can you really be mad at him? That chance would have never even been there without Osimhen. It's not like a player like Ronaldo, if he misses a chance, everybody did the work for him. All he had to do was tap it in. That's not Osimhen. Osimhen makes his own chances, which is really nice to see. It means that actually if he can improve his finishing, we can go very, very far. It's exactly what you said about Mertens. Bologna is his favorite team to score on in Serie A. I thought he was a bit absent, but you can tell he was the coach on the field, true captain. Yeah, I do like Mertens as a captain, but I also think Zielinski is stepping up quite a lot in that leadership position. Do you agree that Lobotka and Ruiz are a better combo than Frank and Ruiz against less physical opponents? Yeah, when there's a team like Bologna that lets you play like they did, where there's so much space, then yes. And we saw that as well with Lazio. When we played against Lazio and Lazio let us play in the midfield, quite freely, Lobotka had maybe one of his best performances for us. I think if you get a team that's a bit more physical, closes you down much more, maybe then Anguissa is a better player. Also a team that maybe likes to counter-attack more. Having Anguissa that can use his physical strength to block those counterattacks, I think that's very, very important as well. So I think playing Lobotka versus Anguissa is something that we'll see depending on who we're playing up against. The one player I would never remove is Fabian. Fabian, I think, is by far our best midfielder. I think he's a class player and just improved so much compared to the start of last season. Actually, Tito Lefes and Lobotka definitely better defender than Anguissa, better tackler and interceptor, and he stays back instead of surging forward. That's an interesting point of view by TT. I think Anguissa is more physical, but what Lobotka does is, maybe Lobotka doesn't go as forward as Anguissa. Maybe. I didn't really notice that difference. Honestly, I can't really comment on that one. I haven't noticed that Anguissa goes too far forward. Fabian deserves to play for Real Madrid. He can easily replace Kroos or Modric in a year or two. Hope we get some big bucks from him. Yeah, I do hope that whatever we do with Fabian, whether we keep him, whether we sell him, I think it would be such a shame if we don't get big money out of him eventually. I hope that he stays for another few years. He's still so young. But I think when the time comes to sell him, I think he will want to go back to Spain at some point. I think that's normal for him. I do hope we can at least get a good 50 million out of that. Vizavis is saying, staff guy sent a ball into the field to waste time. Oh, God, that's worse than like the things I saw in my Sunday League game over the weekend. Well, not my game, but I went to watch the local Sunday League game, and just the things they do to waste time is unbelievable. What do you guys think the captaincy order should be if Ciro leaves in the summer? I say Koulibaly, Ospina, Fabian. I think Zielinski. I think it's Koulibaly, Zielinski, and then Ospina. And that's simply because Zielinski's had far more times as captain than Ospina. I don't think Ospina has ever been captain yet. I see a lot of football. What players should do, like, for example, exploiting that space and covering players. I guess you have some experience. I've been watching football all my life, so I think it's a bit of watching football all my life. I think it's a bit of I like geometry. I don't know if that helps, but I see shapes a lot. So maybe that helps. FIFA maybe. I don't know. But yeah, not like official coach badge or anything like that. It's something I have considered in the past before. Should I become a coach? Should I? But I think there might be another option, football related down the line, which might not be coaching. We'll see. The staff guy kicked the ball into the pitch 2 times when Bologna were taking a throw. I didn't know two times. That's okay. That's bad. Sal de Brita is saying, Dom, that shirt is absolute flames. Yeah, gotta thank my dad for getting me this shirt. So thanks, Dad. For the shirt, it's really nice. I recommend it. It's like this. I don't know if you can tell from the camera if it's like dark blue or black, what it looks like, but it's a very, very dark blue. The fit is nice. It's comfortable. Yeah, it's honestly one of Napoli's best shirts, I think, that they did. And yeah, it's good to buy stuff from Napoli. They clearly need the money. I'm trying to, help them in us getting some players because yeah, they're broke. So let's put our money towards helping Napoli. Big news today though is that apparently Jeff Bezos is going to buy Napoli in 2026 on Napoli's 100th anniversary, which is going to be the most unreal thing that would ever happen to Napoli if the richest man on this earth, or second richest after Elon Musk, but if Jeff Bezos buys Napoli, oh my lord, that would be something. And yeah, I mean, it's something that's been, I think, bubbling under the surface for a long time. Napoli are the first team to have an Amazon store within the Amazon website where you can buy official merchandise. Napoli are the first team to have Amazon as a sponsor on their shirt. We've got Amazon on the sleeves on this season. So clearly, Amazon Napoli are, doing a lot of collaboration. Things are moving. It's popping. You don't know what's going to happen in 4 years, but the rumor is that Jeff Bezos wants to get into sports, wants to get into football, and is like, you know what? These are my homeboys. I'm going to buy these guys. He's also got a really nice yacht that has been spotted around the Gulf of Naples a few times in the past years. So, he obviously likes the place. Who wouldn't like the place? If you've been following my official Napoli talk on Instagram, I posted some really nice pictures of Naples yesterday, including where Dries Mertens lives. You can actually check that out. I think that story is still up. You can see the building where Dries Mertens lives, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that Amazon thing would be amazing for Napoli. Just unreal if that happens. Daniel Bowen with the €10 donation. Thank you, Daniel, so much for supporting the channel as always. Dom, what's your take on the tweet last night from Napoli? All right, so Napoli last night after the Inter Atalanta game put a tweet out saying that I'd like to congratulate Inter and Atalanta for this really spectacular and honest game of football. And it just felt okay, so that tweet obviously, Napoli social media put out, but nothing happens in Napoli without De Laurentiis giving the okay. So this is something that De Laurentiis wanted out there, and it's a clear reference to how Juventus's game against Udinese. Udinese didn't get 2 penalties against Juventus, and so it wasn't like a clean and honest game. Whereas he's saying, well, congrats to Atalanta and Inter for making it clean and honest. but it's just so random. Napoli's Twitter account, they have some really, really weird takes at moments, and I think that deserves a whole separate video at some point where I just make a collage of everything and we just go through the weird things that Napoli says. But yeah, congratulating Inter and Atalanta for a 0-0 is definitely one of the weirdest things that happened all weekend in world football, I think. Nicola is saying, can he buy it tomorrow? I don't care what happens in 4 years' times. I mean, I care about what happens in 4 years' times, but yeah, I mean, if he can buy it today, why not? We clearly don't have the money, so yeah. I will miss Adiele's flair so bad if that happens. What flair? It's said by 2026, so presumably the partnership will keep growing till then. Yeah, that's a good spot. Canahun Flame. Giovanni Di Lorenzo is not a bad shout for captain, says ID Beats. Yeah, that's true. Giovanni Di Lorenzo as well. You know, consistent. You can rely on that guy being on the field. That's kind of what you want from a captain. You know, some guy that's always there. And he clearly loves the club a lot. Daniel Bowen buying Napoli talk in 2026. That's pretty funny. Vincenzo Bertillo. Napoli's tweet was a Machiavellian masterpiece. That's true. It was very constructed. It was very cheeky, you know. De Laurentiis is, you know, he's a smart guy. TT is saying, what do you think about Svanberg today, Dom? Great key passes and a stunning free kick. Plays like a young Zielinski. I don't think Svanberg is actually that young. He's been around for a really long time. Let's Google how old Svanberg is. I think he must be at least 24 already. Let's see. 23. Okay, so he's just turned 23. Yeah, he's actually been around for quite a while. So he joined Bologna in 2018. So 4 years ago. So he joined super young. But yeah, I remember Svanberg since a really long time. I think he's growing. I don't think he's a player that we necessarily need right now. But I definitely rate him. I think he's ready to go to the next step. I think at Napoli, we've got so many technical players already. I don't think he'll find space. I think for the sake of his career, he should be going to a club that will play him regularly because, as you say, like, he deserves that. He's really, really good. So if any of the big clubs need that kind of player, then great. You know, they should totally go for it. Let's see. SSC Napoli insiders IG saying Amazon Arena will be the new stadio. Apparently it's going to be called Amazon Arena Maradona, which is horrible. Absolute. Jeff, if you're watching this, which I know you are, you must be watching this because you're planning to take over Napoli, and so you got to know what Napoli Talk says about it. Jeff, don't change the name, okay? Like, if there's one thing that Napoli fans will love you for, is just not change the name. Put Amazon banners and merchandise and have people like make boxes for you during halftime. Like, I don't care. Like, put a conveyor belt or make the stadium like one giant conveyor belt, and people just like during halftime just put like the random items in the box. I'm like, okay, passive. Like, do whatever you want with the stadium. Convert it into like an Amazon parcel place thingy, whatever. Just don't change the name. Keep it Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. After that, do whatever you want with it, as long as you are spending that cash money. Then, you know, I'd be good with it. I love Amazon, you know, and I hope that he's watching. That's why I am saying that. I hope they treat their employees a little better, though. Come on, they got to do a little better than that. I heard some stories. But that's beside the point. Hopefully Milan can draw against Juve and the Inter and Milan draw. Then we are back in the title race if we beat Inter in a few weeks. I actually hope that Milan beats Inter because our race has to be against Inter because Inter are first. So Inter are the ones that need to drop the most points. If we win against Milan, then we go level points against Milan, and then it doesn't really matter what Milan does anymore as long as we match their performance from the rest. Like, if we beat Milan, as long as we match their performance in every other game, then we'd be on top. So I'm less worried about Milan. Like, I just know that if we beat them and we keep to their same level, then we're better than them. With Inter, we've got to beat them, but then also hope that they drop more points. So I hope that when Milan and Inter play, that Milan is going to beat Inter, if that makes sense. Obviously, if Milan can drop some points here and there, I'd be stoked. But I'd rather see Inter drop points. Tagliafico is the only guy I want right now, says Anthony Navarro. That's a lie. We all know you want Di Lorenzo. Just kidding, man. SJ saying, hopefully Milan can draw against Juve and the Inter. Oh, yeah. That I just read that. Dom, they call it whatever they want as long as they're buying players. Sal Di Lorenzo. Ooh, we got a Sal Di Lorenzo. Salvatore Di Lorenzo saying, congratulations for what you do. Voice of SSC Napoli in the world. That's an amazing comment, man. Thank you for that. I just try to read your comments and make sure that your voices are getting heard. And it's a community, guys. It's a community. It's not it's not my voice. It's okay. I mean, technically it's my voice, but it's your words most of the time, actually. Maximus is saying, well, at least we know he won't put Napoli in debt and then borrow against them like some American owners, in bracket, Man United. Never underestimate the fact that we could still go in debt. Like, I mean, it would be really, really bad if somehow Amazon buys us or Jeff Bezos buys us and we go in debt, because he's literally like the richest man in the world. But you never know. You never know. Let's talk about football once again and the game, because I know a lot of you guys joined to talk about football and not just Jeff Bezos. Meret had a decent performance, kept a clean sheet. That will do his confidence wonders. Good save with his right foot. One thing about Meret is that he's really good at saving with his feet. The problem with Meret is then when he has to use his feet again to pass the ball. So it's a love-hate relationship with Meret's feet, and that sounded very wrong. But foot fetishes aside, it's a very strange relationship that he has with his own feet and what Napoli fans have with his feet. Good save over there by Meret. Then Fabian, he's a magician. You give him the ball around the box in that area, and he will almost score or score. Like, he doesn't miss by much. Like, it's either he hits the post or the crossbar or he scores. Like, he never just skies it or something like that. Like, he's always like, his accuracy is incredible. Like, it's unbelievable what he's able to do. He's unlucky not to have scored that goal. He's got already maybe 5 from outside the box, if I remember correctly, this season. Vincenzo Bertillo is saying, Meret looks so shaky, passing off from the back. Yeah, a few shaky passes. I love the arrow off the crossbar, says Maximus 1318. I draw well, very well. Adrian Jurasek is saying, just a moment, Amazon and Napoli was so busy lately, so I wasn't following news, to be honest. Will he invest in the club or actually buy it? The news is he will actually, it's not Amazon, it's literally Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. So not Amazon as a company, but the owner of Amazon. Even though I think he stepped down, so is he still the owner of Amazon? I mean, he owns Amazon, but he's not like in charge of Amazon anymore, if that makes sense. I don't know. I have to read the news on that. But he will personally buy Napoli once in 2026, apparently, on the 100th anniversary of Napoli. Tuning in from Australia, keep up the work, says Zach Pagaduan. welcome, Zach. I think it's the first time I see your name on the chat. So welcome to all of the new, subscribers and all that. Make sure you are subscribing if you are new to the channel. If Adiele stays president, we should forget Napoli winning major trophies. Regards, Bezos. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait a while for that Bezos thing. So let's not get too carried away. Let's not think about what could happen post 2026. But if that does happen, then Napoli could easily become a powerhouse in European football, which would be incredible. I think all this team's missing is just a few more investments. We don't even need the richest man in the world. We just need someone with 50 mil to spend every year, and this team could literally go and win any title. But hey, if we can get more than 50, then that's great. And I think what this team also needs is investments in infrastructure, which I think someone like Bezos obviously can't afford to do. I mean, how cool would it be, guys? Hear me out. How cool would it be if we have training sessions on his mega yacht? Huh? That would be cool. That's the kind of investments I think we need. And we might get that 2026. We might get that. And I hope I get invited to his mega yacht. Please, Jeff Bezos, if you are watching this, you know where to find me. You have my address on Amazon's website. I use it quite often. I'm Prime member. Jeff, I know you're listening. Anyways, free shipping to Napoli fans. That would be amazing. Free shipping to all Napoli fans. It just keeps getting better. The more I think about Jeff Bezos coming to Napoli, the more it gets better. But guys, you know what's better than Jeff Bezos coming to Napoli? It's this Zielinski pass to Fabian. And I tweeted earlier this week, I said Zielinski is Napoli's most important player. 100%, I believe that. Like, he doesn't play and Napoli doesn't play well, or he doesn't play well and Napoli struggles. As soon as Zielinski turns it up, Napoli plays well. Like, I know a lot of people were like, oh no, Koulibaly is Napoli's most important player. Honestly, like, Koulibaly's been missing for at least half the season now. And Rahmani and Juan Jesus have been doing really, really well. Like, okay, yes, we've lost a few games. Like, we've lost against Empoli, we lost against Spezia. But those goals were flukes. Like, the goal against Empoli literally hit Cutrone in the back of the head. The goal against Spezia was a fluke own goal. Like, this defense has not had a game where they've struggled. We've only conceded more than one goal against pretty much Atalanta and Inter. And even then, it's Atalanta and Inter. It's the two teams that you kind of expect that. And I think that against Inter, Koulibaly was playing. So there's honestly nothing to suggest that Koulibaly is the most important player. I think he is a very important player, but I think the one guy that really makes a difference is Zielinski. Maybe after that, it's Fabian. I think we've felt Fabian's absence tremendously. EJ Wise is saying, first off, thank you very much for your $9.99 donation. Super appreciate that. My man, Lobo went from our Pillsbury Doughboy to Doughman. A Jeff Bezos financial takeover might be the coolest concept I've ever heard of. Great work, as always, Dom. Thank you, EJ. Lobo has been unreal this season. We went through a bit of the tactical analysis about how Napoli's midfield plays, and Lobotka is an integral part of that. EJ Weiss continues to say, Rahmani has been incredible. Not gonna lie. Yeah, Rahmani has been... If I were to give a most improved award, I would love to give it to Lobotka, but I think Rahmani might pip that, because he's had to not only step it up, but he's had to do that every single game. Lobotka, you can kind of rely on, one time you could rely on Fabian, another time you could rely on Demme, another time you could rely on Anguissa. Rahmani didn't have that luxury. Rahmani had Juan Jesus next to him for the grand part of the year, and he had to step it up. He had to become the leader of that midfield. Without a player like Koulibaly. Whereas Lobotka, I feel like, if he doesn't play, the midfield is still okay with Demme, Fabian, and Anguissa potentially there. So I think, Rahmani might get that award if I were to give one out. Anthony Navarro saying Rahmani makes me feel he'll be KK 2.0 in terms of being Serie A Defender of the Year and just consistently going off. Yeah, I think he deserves to be Defender of the Year. I think him and Bastoni have been the two best defenders so far. I think a defense with Rahmani on the right, Bastoni in the left of the center, that's the defense of the year. No question about it. So anyways, Zielinski with a beautiful pass to Fabian. Like the technique, like the arrow that I drew doesn't do it justice. It's the technique that he uses. And then Fabian to Lozano. And as I was saying, Lozano with the calmness to take it past the goalkeeper first before slotting it into the back of the net. That's what's been missing from Lozano. His touches have been wild. They've been, just rushed. This time he took his time. He remembered that he's a professional football player that knows how to control the ball, took it around the goalkeeper and scored, and he thoroughly deserves this goal. And what I really liked was the team coming around and celebrating with him, because honestly, other times when Lozano used to score, that didn't happen, and it felt almost like he didn't integrate very well with the team. But I've never seen so many players run up to a player like they did to Lozano as quickly and stay there for as long as they did. Like, it's not just you run up, give him a little hug, and walk away. Like, they properly gave him each one of them gave him like a bear hug, which is something that I love to see, because Lozano really struggled in the first part of the year, and this could be a turning point in his season. Giancarlo Costa saying, if the rumors are true with Napoli, Amazon building a relationship with Napoli, look, the relationship already exists because of the Amazon Napoli store and the Amazon sponsor on the t-shirt. But how far away is Amazon being the main sponsor of Napoli? As stated, well, Amazon is very close to, Jeff Bezos in 4 years is about to buy Napoli. That's the rumor. So you can imagine that the sponsorship might grow and grow and grow. And as you say, maybe next year there could be some new elements of that sponsorship. Maybe it could become more of a main sponsor. Then maybe there could be more things around the stadium, more advertisements. There could be more things that Napoli could do with Amazon in terms of shipping the Napoli shirts. I think there's still areas of improvement in, like, the one key thing that Napoli is missing, I think, is logistics and supply chain of their merchandise is really bad. We've suffered in recent years of having companies like Macron and Kappa be our sponsors, which had very little reach globally. The fact that we then partnered with Amazon kind of helped us get those products across internationally, but it's still not enough. And I think they need to power that system a lot more, get the supply chain going, get all that stuff rolling. And I think that's the next step. Getting the merch out there, getting more things, getting Amazon more involved in all that stuff, because I still think it's super difficult to buy Napoli stuff abroad. Paolo Iannicello saying, can someone please answer my question, bro? I want to know when Koulibaly will be back. Bro, he's in the African Cup of Nations. Senegal is still playing, so it depends when they get knocked out. If they go all the way to the final, then he might make it in time for the Inter game. Just about, maybe, but if he gets knocked out earlier, then he might come a bit earlier. Every Napoli game live on Amazon Prime would be amazing. Yeah, that could be something, for example, like a next step, as you say. Maybe before Amazon buys Napoli, there could be some exclusive deal. Or it could even just start with highlights. Or why not a documentary on Amazon? Amazon has All or Nothing with, I think they did it with Juventus, they did it with Leeds, they did it with, why not do it for Napoli? Obviously, they tried different things with the Maradona series. They have got the Maradona movie on there. So they are exploring the Naples brand a lot. And who knows how that will go. And I think this topic definitely deserves an extra video, like a separate standalone video for it. So yeah, this was then I think a penalty that Napoli should have had. Fabian got his shirt pulled and there was no penalty given. There was also a stomp on Lozano's leg which didn't get called, so the ref, I don't know what he was doing today. I don't know. And then, our boy Victor Osimhen came back from injury and he looked lively. Like, okay, you can tell he hasn't been training very much. You can tell he's he's still rusty, but as I said, he makes his own chances. This ball should have never gone to Osimhen, but his speed and strength made sure that he got there ahead of the defender. If this was like Mertens, for example, Mertens would have never received that ball. But Osimhen got that ball, got rid of one player, then he goes and he dribbles past the second player, and then as he's shooting, he gets disturbed by the number 5 behind him, or at least so he says, and I'm not sure if this is a penalty or not, but, the ball gets, he sends it over the bar. As I said, he needs to work on his composure in front of goal at times, but this opportunity to get in that position is 100% made by Osimhen. Like, that pass that he received was a half chance, and then he made it into a chance. So I can't really be harsh on Osimhen at all when he misses these chances. It's stuff that he creates himself. Best Napoli merch is on the Napoli or website in Italian. Yup. In US, it's still pretty hard to find a Napoli shirt. Yeah, it's super hard to find Napoli shirts abroad. That's the Demme through ball, says TT. Yeah, that's the one I did. I think only Osimhen could have reached that ball. I think if you had Mertens or Petagna there, no way. But when you play Osimhen, you basically just say, yeah, I'll just put a ball in front and he's gonna get there. So yeah, I never feel like complaining too much after he's got a really difficult ball, dribbled past 3 players, to then say, oh yeah, but he missed. Like, it's a bit unfair. But yeah, guys, I know you guys want to know the ratings, so here we go with the player ratings. Now, let me start off with Batman. Batman gets a 7. Why? Because he's Batman. Moving on. Spalletti gets a 7 because I think Napoli dominated this game, kept a clean sheet. It was the right decision to play Zielinski, even though Zielinski actually had to take a train separately this morning to reach the team because he only ended his isolation period this morning. I think it was the right choice to put Lozano and, putting trust in Lozano. And I think it was the right choice as well to maybe put Osimhen on for a few minutes and let him get introduced into Batman for a few minutes and let him, feel the field one more time, and then eventually, he goes from 20 minutes to 30 and then, does that once or twice and then he's ready to play. And before you know it, we play against Inter and boom, Osimhen, 5 goals. Batman, 5 goals. The Dark Knight. I think, I put NA in Demme, Goulam's and Petagna's performance because, as I said, I wasn't watching the game in the last 10 minutes because I was watching Milan get obliterated by Spezia and the referee. And Politano gets a 6 because he came on with 20 minutes to go, so I'm sure he had time to prove himself, but I don't remember him doing anything. I don't remember him screwing up anything. As I said, I wasn't watching the game in the last 10 minutes, so I don't know. So everything you see here is basically from the first 70 minutes, pretty much, plus that Osimhen chance, which I managed to watch. The defense did well, 6.5 each. I know that we suffered towards the end. There was Bologna pushing, and Rahmani and Juan Jesus and all those guys kept it clean, kept it nice and tight at the back. And 6.5, but I don't think Bologna did anything that was too difficult to defend against. So I'm not going to give him like a 7 for this clean sheet. Meret had one good save with his foot, but actually it was offside anyways, so I don't want to give him like an amazing score. Fabian, though, amazing because of his assist towards Lozano and his crossbar and just the way he came back onto the field. It went all the way, he made things flow. He made it real nice to watch. Lobotka, I'm going to give him a 6.5 because here's the thing, guys. These ratings are also based on the average performance of that player. And I feel like Lobotka's like now pushing that performance up and up and up. So, I mean, if it was up to me, I would put a 10 against his performance if we were comparing him to the Lobotka of last year. But if we compare it to the Lobotka of Lazio or the Lobotka of some of the other games, okay, yeah, it's a good game, but nothing special. I think what Lobotka's missing at the moment is a goal, is an assist. As soon as he gets that, then he can go back to that, to those 8.5. But right now, just a clean performance. A few bad passes towards the end that I did pick up on. So that's why it's a 6.5 and not a 7. Zielinski was fantastic today. I just loved Zielinski. Maybe my favorite player, honestly, because he's got everything. He knows how to defend. He knows how to get stuck in tackles. He knows how to pass. He knows how to shoot. He knows how to... Well, he doesn't know how to shoot from inside the box, but he knows how to do pretty much everything apart from that. He's just the most classy player, and I love the way they play with each other. The midfielders, as I said with Fabian, it just was so smooth today. Elmas 6, because Elmas, okay, he got the assist for Lozano, but I feel like just average. Nothing really to write home about. And Mertens as well, kind of absent in today's game. Nothing really to write home about. Not bad, but nothing to really write home about. Hashtag Domenico out. Hashtag no Elmas slander. Hashtag we reject these ratings, says ID Beats. Nah. Don't you think Mario Rui was great considering he was just returning from COVID but did so much? Yeah, I mean, 6.5 is good. Like, let's be real though. Like, as much as I love Di Lorenzo and as much as I love Mario Rui, at the same time, a left back and a right back also need to be contributing with some goals and assists. Like, you have to also imagine, what if we had Theo Hernandez on the field? Like, this guy, Theo Hernandez, would be getting assists and goals relatively consistently. Like, how do you expect me to give Mario Rui a 7 or a 7.5 when he's not got any assists? He's not even been, like, the pre-assister. Like, just a clean sheet and a composed performance is a 6.5. If he had gotten an assist, then maybe it would have been a 7 or a 7.5. And same thing for Di Lorenzo. Like, 6.5 is not bad. It's still like you did well. It's just like when you look at your career and you say, what are my top 20 games in my life? You're not going to write home about Bologna, Napoli. You're just not. Because you didn't score, you didn't assist. It was just you're going to say, like, this is my good, but, like, somewhat average level. Like, this is my business as usual. That's a 6.5. Business as usual, pretty much. Maybe slightly above, because a 6 is more like, okay, like 6.5 is like, yeah, business as usual. And I think that's the case. I don't think they did anything that, you're going to look back and try to find highlights of Mario Rui against Bologna. Like, for me, that's what a 7 or 7.5 or an 8 would be. But maybe my interpretation of my rating system is different than, maybe the rating system that you might have in your head. But remember, like, a 10 is almost impossible. That's like when you score a hat trick. So it's already different. Like, it's not like when you take a test and you get 10 questions right and it's like a 10 out of 10. Like, it's not that simple. Like, you can't get a 10 in my rating. So you have to think that everything's like a bit lower than what you might be used to. Like, some people might throw out 10s quite often. I've not really done that. I've only done that maybe like a few times. On odd occasions, I've done that. Let's see. Lobotka went to a footballing tempo over the break. What an improvement. I think he just got skinnier, to be honest, and that really helps his game and build confidence. Di Lorenzo definitely really great at getting into goal-scoring position, but he gets very excited and usually fluffs his lines. He's not got that... he's not got that final pass to him. He's really good at like getting to the box, and then he doesn't have that Trent Alexander-Arnold whip. You know, he doesn't whip that ball in like Trent does. Mauro Rui doesn't really have that either. I mean, he tries maybe a bit more than Di Lorenzo to whip the ball in, but I mean, we've not really benefited much from their assists or goals. But what we have benefited from is how well they play in the midfield, how well they defended. You know, they've been consistent, their work rate, their tackling. That, yes. But, you know, I'd like to see more going forward for them to boost their ratings. Fabian and Emma deserve higher ratings, in my opinion. 7.5 is really good. 7.5 is really good. Like, you have to, like, think about if Fabian scored a goal. Like, if he scored the let's say the one that he hit the crossbar, then if you're saying he deserved an 8 now, then you're saying that he would deserve a 9 if he scored that goal. But a 9 is like, as I said, it's like an unreal performance. Like, a 9 is something that you would give like one of Lionel Messi's like best performance. Like, a 10 is like Armando Maradona against England in the 1986 World Cup. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, we're like, the scale is like, it's rigged. Like, you can't get a 10 pretty much. So you have to think that like, if I give Fabian anything more than a 7.5, then what would his score be if he actually scored that goal? So you have to like consider those things. I think if he scored, I would have given him maybe an 8 or an 8.5. But if because he didn't score, it's a 7.5. But it's still very good. Like, it's still an amazing result, 7.5. But yeah, I mean, 8.5 is like GOAT status. Like, it would really be like, wow, this is one of your best ever games for Napoli. And I just don't think that any of these players could say this is one of their... Even Lozano, who's got an 8, like, I think he's had better games for Napoli, honestly. Let's see some of the stats just for the lols, just to see how much we dominated. So we can see here. Well, let's go to the stats. Yeah, 62% possession, 86% pass accuracy. Didn't have a lot of shots on target compared to Bologna, 5 and 5, and even total number of shots 14 and 12. But what we did have was cleaner shots on goal, from nicer goal scoring positions, and also Bologna's happened to come at a time when it was desperate attempts when the scoreline was already 2-0. So that's something that is a bit misleading in the stats over there. But I mean, I think we did well. We did well with the 2 goals. The table here now is looking very interesting. As I said, we've managed to now go 2 wins in a row. Out of the top 4 teams, technically Napoli is the one that's most in form at the moment with these 2 wins, which is not bad. I know we lost against Fiorentina in the Coppa Italia, but those were extraordinarily unique conditions. Not only was it a separate tournament, but the game, how it evolved with the red cards and everything and the extra time and whatnot. And Fiorentina are a good team. They're winning 3-0, well, against Genoa, but they're a good team. They're not horribly off the pace for a top 4 finish. I mean, they're still, if they win this game, they're 7 points behind 4th. That's it's not horrible, considering Atalanta is the one occupying 4th spot, and Fiorentina are, building a squad at the moment. I think in the next few years, Fiorentina could potentially have more to say in that top 4 fight. And I expect Roma and Lazio as well. I think maybe next year we could see something very, very interesting with the Serie A, with maybe 8 teams involved in the fight for top 4. So that's that. Now I think we can move on to, well, let's look at the next games. We've got Derby on Sunday against Salernitana. Then a little trip to the canals of Venice, which will be very nice. And you damn well know Napoli's going to rock up in that Jeff Bezos mega yacht in those canals of Venice. And yeah, I'm daydreaming again. That's what happens. All I have to think of is Jeff Bezos and his mega yachts, and then I just dream of like Mbappe playing for Napoli and all these things, and then I can't concentrate on my life. But I don't think Napoli's going to rock up in a mega yacht just yet, but we're gonna go to Venice. Maybe we're gonna go on a little gondola trip, and we're gonna rock up there on a Sunday. There's a little bit of a break in between that, so we have to make sure that we beat Salernitana in the derby. Then we have a bit of rest, which is good. Maybe recover some players from the African Cup of Nations, play against Venezia, and then we got Inter. It's important that we get these 6 points, because in the meantime, Inter will play against Milan. The other game that Inter have is, let me look it up. The other game that Inter have is, well, let's see. They've got Venezia. So they've got Venezia, Milan. We've got Salernitana, Venezia. So we both have to play Venezia. But we have a derby against Salernitana, and they have a derby against Milan. So interesting how that works. Nani went to Venezia, which is incredible how that guy's career is still going. He was still influential, got an assist for Venezia when he came on, a minute after he came on as well. Malquid's Instagram stories, his ID beats, I don't know what he posted, but I can imagine it's something absolutely crazy. Hope these next 2 games get some Victor Osimhen get some playing time, get that rust out for Inter and or Barcelona. Yeah, I think he'll be fully back for the Barcelona game, maybe even without the mask. I think that's the target, have him like 100% recovered in a month's time. And potentially against Inter, he'll be at a very good level, like 80-90%. But yeah, I really am excited to see Victor Osimhen full capacity against Barcelona. I know he's a big fan of Barcelona, so I think he'll be pumped for that game, 100%. Mbappe is not a type that Napoli would sign. Remember, you've been talking about Napoli signing stars. Yeah, but I'm talking about Jeff Bezos signing Mbappe in 4 years. It's not now. When Jeff comes, it's gonna be a whole different story. Guys. So, guys, let's go to the press conference that Napoli have done, or Spalletti has done, and then we can close the live. Make sure that if you joined recently that you are smashing the like button. So, see what he says to DAZN. So he's saying the team understands the road that they have to take. It has some very unique characteristics, this team. In some moments, we lose our traits and we become too soft. But for the type of shirt that we wear, we have the duty to make the fans proud and basically give it our 100%. When we do our job correctly, we make the fans proud. Otherwise, we are very normal people. I get very mad when we don't do things well. We're a team that we can defend for a very long time. We have to, though, make sure that we keep the ball down on the ground. We clean it, so to say. So, like, if the ball's bouncing, when you clean the ball, it's like you just rest it on the ground. And so we clean the ball and we reorganize ourselves for the next attack. We are not a team that can defend for long periods of time, is what Spalletti is saying. My bad. We have to make sure that we recover the ball. They say, today you guys played really well, but the last 20 minutes you guys kind of suffered. And he said, we actually, dropped a few points this season in similar situations. We, could have had a much better league table if it wasn't for those situations. Up top, they are really good. We are definitely a top 4 level team. We basically have to make sure that we don't create problems for ourselves. We have to make sure that we use the spaces more. And I think that's one of the things that I think I said as well. Whilst we did win, whilst it was a convincing performance, in the analysis I showed you guys that we could have used the spaces a bit well. Osimhen gifted his shirt to one of the fans who almost couldn't believe it. Is that what you mean by making the fans proud? And he's saying, look, we have to make the fans proud, in whatever way possible. We don't really care about the individual numbers. What we care about is bringing the result home for the team and for our city. Now we need to do something to return the love that Napoli fans have given for this shirt. Then the presser continues, and Spalletti says, for a long periods of the game, we did what we had to do. We have to have a lot of ball possessions. We have to command the game because that's our characteristic. That's our trait. We're not a team that should be getting involved in tackles. We should play a style of football that avoids that kind of physical confrontation. Regarding Bologna's chances in the final minutes, and they had 1 or 2 chances to go on goal, just like us, but it's the mentality to go and attack, which is correct. We have to use our quality, and we have to be aggressive. We can't let ourselves drop deep. That we never have to do. Osimhen, we saw his qualities. He slipped a few times today. It's fundamental for him to regain confidence with the field. He did these 20 minutes, and that's going to be very important for his progress. It's also very important that Fabian played. We have to make sure that our best players are available to make sure that we end up in the top 4. Regarding Atalanta Inter, they ask him, and he says Napoli has to go and play games and not take a look at what other teams are doing around them. We have to play every game well that we have ahead. Yesterday's game, Atalanta Inter, shows that we need to put in a lot of physicality in certain games, and that we have to suffer to make sure that we win every single ball. Today he's saying today that was important in some parts of the game. We maybe suffered a bit in that. But anyways, we move on. We won this game. We think of the next one, and let's not think about other teams. So, that's Spalletti saying, we need to be more physical. We need to make sure that Osimhen finds his confidence with the field again, and I think he's happy. I think he didn't want to come off too happy because of Napoli's used to winning one game and then losing the next and all that, so he doesn't want to say oh, everything's resolved now, everyone's back and we're winning and this and that, and then maybe lose the next game, right? He wants to keep the players concentrated. He wants to make sure that they're constantly improving. And not getting carried away with a win against Bologna. We've got a derby coming up next, which is not easy. Salernitana's not the most amazing team, but it's a derby. They've got new ownership. They're gonna want to do well, so it's gonna be interesting. I think Lozano was talking about wanting to go back to Barca. Says V.H. Yeah, I think Lozano is a big Barca fan, Napoli should get Anthony from Ajax. He's so good, says Napoli insiders. Yeah, I think he's a very, very talented player. I think there's going to be a lot of clubs looking at Anthony in the summer. I think the advantage that Napoli has is that they can almost guarantee that he starts. You know, if he goes to another club like Real Madrid or Man United or whatever, he knows that he's got big competition there. You know, instead he comes to Napoli, he knows that Insigne's left. That could be really good for him. And to be honest, I like Lozano more on the right than on the left. So we don't really have anyone on the left apart from Elmas. And you could argue that that's not his natural position, even though I do think that he has got the potential to do well. It's just he needs to unlock that potential. Probably best media manager we've had in a while since Mazzarri, to be honest, but even he was a little sloppy speaking with them. Spalletti is very good at speaking to the media. Yeah, Spalletti is cryptic. You have to read between the lines with what Spalletti says. You have to see what tone he's saying some things in. The breaks that he takes while he speaks are very important. They suggest, you know, sometimes silence speaks a lot. It shows that maybe he's choosing his words in that particular moment quite a lot. So yeah, Spalletti is one of those guys that is very smart, media trained. He's got lots of experience, and yeah, hasn't said anything wrong so far, to be honest. He's trying very hard to create a connection with the Napoli fans. He talks about Napoli fans a lot. When he recovered from COVID, he said, you know, the only virus I have is Napoli and I don't want to get rid of it and all these things. I think he's trying to get the fans back in the stadium. That's another huge problem that Napoli has. And yeah, he's trying. He's trying because there were some other coaches in the past that maybe didn't bother connecting this well with the Napoli fans, and that didn't go too well for them. Osimhen hat-trick against Salernitana if he starts, says SJ. I don't think the Salernitana game is going to have many goals. I think it's going to be very similar to the Empoli and Spezia games in the sense that until we score, it's going to be quite closed. If we do get a goal, then the game might open up because these teams then have to expose themselves. But you know these teams, Empoli, Spezia, Salernitana, all these guys, they're going to come to Naples, sit back, park the bus, not give us any space to run into behind them. I'd be surprised if they do. It would be suicidal of them if they do. And it's just going to be a frustrating game until somehow we manage to unblock it. And then once we've unblocked the game, then they're going to open up. They're going to be forced to open up. And then Napoli could win it 5-6-0 for all we care. But it's until that point, it's going to be tricky. If we get the goal very early on, within the first 25 minutes, great. But otherwise, it's going to be hard. And we kind of saw it today against Bologna as well. We didn't get a whole lot of chances. We got 5 shots and we scored quite early on. If we hadn't scored in the first half, I don't think we would have necessarily gotten that second goal, for example. That second goal that we hit them on the counterattack, that counterattack would have never existed if it was still 0-0. So you can see how one goal leads to another, and until you get that goal, it's very difficult. You need some, maybe even a bit of luck to get that first goal at times. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That game against Salernitana is gonna be aggressive, and they gotta be up for it. They gotta be up for it. Anthony would be too expensive, says Jorge. Napoli, I think, if they were to buy Anthony, they would have to sell someone for sure. Who they sell, I don't know. But I do think that Napoli are going to sell someone. We haven't sold anyone since Alan, which is going to be 2 years this summer. We sold Alan for 25 million. So in 2 years, Napoli have only made 25 million in sales. That's very little. on the one hand, people want Napoli to keep players because it's like, oh, if you sell this guy, then what the hell is your ambition? But on the other hand, it's like, well, once we don't sell the player, then how can we keep this club moving forward? Because you need fresh money to buy players, because then the players that we have get older and all that, and they ask for more money when they need to renew the contract as it's running out, and it's complicated. It's complicated. Antony is the same player as Politano. Only thing Antony has better than Politano is dribbling. That's all. That's a good observation. He's not someone that scores lots of goals. I think that's maybe what we're missing from our wingers this year. Insigne, Lozano, Elmas, Politano, Unas have not scored many goals. Okay, Lozano scored 2 today, but before today, he had scored 2 in the whole season. Politano, 1 in the whole season. Insigne, apart from penalties, 0. Unas, apart from the Europa League, 0. Elmas has a few. So I think what we need to do, if we buy someone, is we need a winger that's got goals in him. So, yeah, maybe you're right, Nicola. Maybe you're right that Antony is not for Napoli. Napoli needs... Well, you're saying Napoli needs a good passer. I say Napoli needs someone that can score. Because I think we can get away with not having a good passer as long as we've got the other people in the team passing well. I think that's enough quality in passing. What we need is a goal scorer from the wide positions. Right. So, guys, I think that concludes today's bring back Super Milik. I'm going to pretend like I never saw that message. Why do you have to unlock these nightmares? Jack Grealish, lol. Mohamed Salah has goals in him. Imagine that. But Mohamed Salah is asking for £300,000 a week, which is insane amounts of money. I know he's really good, but still insane. And I tweeted about it a few days ago. But yeah, someone maybe like with that kind of care, not to the same level, obviously. Hopefully it develops into a Mo Salah, but someone that has an eye for goal. That would be nice. Anyways, guys, it is 9 o'clock here, so I'm gonna go and have some dinner. Napoli won, Milan lost. Yesterday, Inter and Atalanta tied, so it's a good day. Make sure that if you haven't yet smashed that like button, go ahead and you smash that like button now. You subscribe. You follow Napoli Talk on Twitter. You follow official Napoli Talk on Instagram. If you don't have those two things, get them just to follow them, I guess, if you want to. If not, I can't really do anything about it. But yeah, start making good decisions in your life. And no, guys, seriously, thanks for joining. It was great fun today. Good result. And see you on Sunday. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre.